decrease. First Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
8 o'clock with WIFO-FM Jessup, and it is time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, First Southern Bank, and Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings.
Good morning, Jonathan. We've got a special guest in the studios with us. Again, we've been talking millage rate and tax digest for the last several weeks as the city, county, and school board all had to set their millage rate, and we've got the lady in the studio that will explain what all that means. We've got the tax commissioner, Denise Griifis. Denise, appreciate coming in.
Thanks for having me, Bob. Tax Digest has been shipped to Atlanta. It went out last Thursday. I got the email Friday afternoon from the director saying that the digest had been approved and it had the order to bill and collect attached. So the bills are they've been uploaded to the printers and will be going out this week.
Okay, so when will they expect to get them in the mail?
They should probably get them in the mail maybe over the weekend or the first of next week. And they're mailed out of Tennessee, so it does take an extra day or two.
And like I mentioned, all the commissioners and people talking, the only thing people care about, will they see an increase or decrease in their tax bill? So what will they see when they get their tax bills in the mail?
The majority of the people will see a decrease. The school board had to go down a tiny bit in their millage rate due to the digest increase. So the total decrease in the millage rate for county and school is 1.037 mils.
Will it be a significant decrease?
No, it's not that significant. If you've got
it's not going up, though. That's the good news, right?
No, it's not going up. If you've got a $100,000 homesteaded property, your decrease would be $36.29. And that is assuming that the value stayed the same. If your value of your home increased during the year for whatever reason, either a reval by the assessors or you did an addition or built a shop, something like that, then, of course, yours will go up because it's based on 40% of the fair market value.
As I mentioned,
the majority of us will see a decrease.
As I mentioned, most people like me, they don't understand what millage. Explain what a digest, a millage, and what's it, they say a mill brings in. So how does it determine what's a mill, what's the digest? Just explain the whole process for people. Kind of explain it where a common folk like myself might understand it. I don't know. When I go to these meetings, it's just way over my head. Well,
it's a lot of numbers, and that does get confusing. But
I was terrible in math. I only had to take one math class at college, so
you were lucky.
That's why I went into journalism. So I know nothing about numbers. I still have trouble with numbers.
Okay. Well, the assessor's office, of course, is the one that assigns the values to all the property in the county. And you're not taxed on 100% of fair market value. You're only taxed on 40% of it. So the numbers that you're going to hear me talk about are all at 40%. But the digest is included, of course, on your real property and personal property in the county. By personal property, I mean the desk and equipment sitting here at the radio station, any business personal property, inventory, that type of thing. So you don't send out bills on, well, I'm not saying that very well. When I send these bills out, they will be just on the real and personal property. So, but the digest includes both the real and personal property digest, which you'll be getting the bill on, but it also includes the timber digest, the mobile home digest, the heavy equipment digest, and the motor vehicle ad valorem taxes. So all of those together compile the digest. So with the motor vehicles, of course, now that most people pay $20, that's continuing to decrease by a good bit every year. The mobile home digest is billed separately in January. That's for mobile homes that are not fixed to a property and considered part of the real property with a certificate of permanent location filed. That would be if I had a mobile home and I was renting a lot from you, then you're paying for the land and I get a separate bill for the mobile home. All your mobile home parks would be that way pretty much. So there's a lot to the entire digest, but the main part of it, of course, is those real and personal property tax bills, which will go out next week. And your millage rate, the way the system is set up, your tax bills can increase if the value in your county increases due to new construction. this rollback rate that gets talked about, the system is designed so that if everything in your county stays the exact same way, you have no increases, no decreases, no buildings are torn down, you've got everything this year that you had last year, then your tax has to stay the same. So what happens, of course, that doesn't work out. You have property values going up and down just by inflationary purposes. If there's a house on the digest valued at $100,000 and it sells during the year for $80,000, for the next year that property is going to be reduced to $80,000 that you paid for it. So that's where the inflationary part comes in. So whether you have inflation or deflation, you can still collect basically the same amount of taxes. That's why sometimes the rollback rate goes up, as it did for Odom and Scriven this year, or it goes down like it did for the city of Jessup and the county.
How's it determine what a mill brings in, and what's a mill?
That's based on the 40% value of the property.
Okay.
For 2019, the value of a mill was $746,000.
Right, so that's what the county and the city and school board look at. They look at what the millage, what a mill brings in, what their budget's going to be, how many. So that's how they determine what the millage rate's going to be.
And the net digest for the county and for the school is always different because we have here the over 65 100% school tax exemption. So their exemptions are larger than the county exemptions.
And we're the only county that still does that, isn't that correct?
Most counties do have some form of an exemption, but to my knowledge, we're the only one with a 100% exemption. Most of them have either an income cap or an acreage cap or a value cap.
And people talk all the time about that was a mistake, shouldn't have done it, but to get it changed, they'd have to go through the legislature, right?
Yeah, through the legislature and be put on the ballot and be voted in.
And no legislator wants to touch that.
No, I would be really surprised.
Right, they're not going to put that genie back in the bottle. So,
no.
But the school system talks about how much that's affected their budget.
Yes, it does. That's what makes our school system's millage rate higher compared to counties around us because of the fact that their net digest is lower because of that exemption.
You mentioned the tax bills go out. They mention this at every meeting. You're not going to get 100% because unfortunately some people just won't pay their tax bills. Is that correct?
Some people won't pay until I send them on my tax sale list to Bob Smith's office. Yes, that's correct.
And we've done a better job of that since you've taken over because like I said in the past, I was amazed at one point, a lot of people didn't even know they owed tax, because I remember you went in and just sent out letters and would get a response like, well, I didn't know I owed this and all that. So it was amazing. They got a lot of money back just by sending out the letters, letting people know they owe taxes.
Sending out the delinquent tax statements. Yes. That does help a lot.
What happens to a person that just refuses to pay the taxes? Is there criminal prosecution for people that don't pay their taxes? Or
not to my knowledge, but I can sell their property.
I see. So how's that work? You condemned? Is it condemned or,
When I do a tax sale list, I send it. Bob Smith's office handles those for me. And I actually have one in the works right now. I've got to tweak it a little bit. But all of that process is set by law. So Bob's office sends out 30-day letters, certified mail, to anybody with an interest in that property, to the owner, to the renter, to the mortgage company. If the IRS has a lien on it, they get notified. If Murphy Builders has a contractor's lien on it, they get notified. So it takes research on the lawyer's part to notify all of these parties, and they have the right to come and pay it off. And what happens a lot of times, if there's a mortgage on it, the mortgage company's going to step in because they don't want to lose their interest in the property. So they're going to step in, pay your $6,000, add that to your principal, and send you a letter saying, hey, your mortgage just went up. We had to pay your taxes.
Well, but the last couple of years, what's the rate of people paying? Is it? Are we over 90% of people paying their taxes, or?
I haven't looked at it recently, but usually anywhere 92 to 93%.
So over 90% of people are doing what they're supposed to do.
Are doing what they're supposed to do. Yes.
Well, they mentioned also at the county meeting that the digest increased. I mean, it was like $20-some million, $25 million.
It was close to 20. It was 17 to 18, somewhere in there.
And people asked the question, why did it grow so much? And
they said main thing was Commisioner's, yes,
right.
What was built at January 1. Your digest always hinges on January 1. Even though the bills go out in September and are due in November, it's the value at January 1.
And that's what people say all the time. You know, more business, more industry, the better it is for the tax digest. And
oh, yeah.
Right. So, like I said, that we took a hit. Like, so we used to have several car dealerships. When a lot of the car dealerships closed up, that hurt digest as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
So, like I said, you want industry. I know IDA continues to work, bring industry, and that's what it's all about. The more industry you get, the more. You know, sales tax is a big thing too. You know, people are out shopping. That helps as well. So with the COVID thing, I'm sure that's hurt that as well. You know, a lot of people are just staying inside, not doing a lot of things.
The sales tax this year actually increased some. For the digest, the amount of sales tax I have to consider is the previous calendar year. So there was more taxes for 2019, more sales tax than 2018, which is what affects the 2020 digest. But I keep an eye on it online, and it's still increasing and not decreasing. And when that was brought up at the commissioners' meeting recently, what I wanted to say was, when someone asked, you know, how is it going up? What I wanted to say was, because everybody's hoarding the toilet paper. Right. So they're buying it all up.
They're buying it all up. Well, the good news in years past, we used to be behind the 8 ball because the digest wasn't approved on time. You said you have to send it to Atlanta and they have to approve it, right?
Yes.
So what all do they approve? They just approve the paper? I mean, how does that work?
The paperwork that I have to send them is in a notebook about 3 inches thick. Okay. So it's a pretty big ordeal.
And so how soon do you find out whether they approve it and all that? I mean, because there's 156 counties in the state of Georgia all doing the same thing, so they have to approve it. So, well,
you don't all hit at the same time. You would have September 1st is the deadline, so you will have a bottleneck there right at the 1st. But the 2 people in Atlanta who are mainly in charge of that do an excellent job. They're normally very fast. I overnight it to Atlanta, and I normally get my reply the next day.
You mentioned the tax bills went out. They should get them over the weekend. What's the deadline to pay their taxes? How much time do they have before they have to pay the taxes?
November 15th. You have to have 60 days.
60 days. So they got 60 days once they get the bill to come in and pay it or send it in by mail. Is that correct?
That's correct. You can also pay online at WayneGATax.com. The tax bills, I haven't made them go live yet, so your 2020 will not show up there today. I'm going to wait until I actually see a bill in the mail to make them live. Or that's the plan. I may change my mind.
You mentioned license plates. You used to get a notice in the mail. You don't get the notice anymore, so you got to know it's due on your birthday.
Yes.
You got to go pay.
And you can actually get it
I
with the old
system. I found out the hard way.
Yeah, I forgot Danny's one year.
I got pulled over and I didn't know.
That was terrible.
He said, "You didn't pay your tax." Yeah, I did. I got it right here. And he said, "No." He said, "That was last year." So I said, "Well, they normally send us in the notice, but you don't get the notice in the mail anymore."
No, you don't get a notice in the mail anymore. The reason for that, the company that used to do that, it's a state contracted thing, went out of business, and they went bankrupt actually, and they had trouble getting other people to do it, and they've changed several times since then, but they're charging like $2 to $2.50 to mail those notices out. And most of the people now, not everybody, but most people are just paying the $20 tag fee. You don't have the ad valorem tax anymore. Of that $20, the county gets $1. And $19 goes to Atlanta.
Right, yeah.
So we were going in the hole.
That was another shaft we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And with Drives, the new tag system that's been in place about 1.5 years now, with Drives, you can go to the Department of Revenue website and you can sign up for an email notification. So that's what I did, was signed up so that I get an email. But with the old system, you could get people think they have to get it on their birthday. With the old system, it was in place 30 to 45 days ahead.
You just made
my birthday's in November. I actually bought mine several weeks ago because I got my email that said it was available. So it's running 60 days or more ahead of your birthday that you can get it if you want to.
You just made a good point, though. A lot of people don't understand that because you go to these meetings and you hear the frustration by the city, the county, and the state continues to take more and more. The school system the same way. The state used to provide funding for buses, a lot more than they do now. They used to give them 4 buses. Now it's down to 1, things like that. So the same thing with the license plate tag. They used to get all the money. Now they get $1 out.
Yep, we get $1.
So that's the frustration with city and county and school board. They constantly get hit by less and less money keeps coming their way. The state continues to take more and more. So that's something you get to talk to your legislators about. So again, Jonathan asked a question before you got here on here. You got the answer. Everybody keeps asking about the construction going on. You said there's an Enmark coming there?
Yeah, that's an Enmark station and store, I'm sure, combo going on the lot where the Ford Place used to be.
Yeah, people keep asking what's going on there. You see all the construction, all the dirt and all that, so that's what's coming there. So
yes, that's correct.
We can answer that question. Well, Denise, again, it seems like things are going better than they have been. Like I said, the digest is out on time. The tax bills are out on time. So, again, for years, that wasn't the case. So a lot's been done to get that corrected. And I said the good news is the digest is down a little bit, so they will see at least a decrease in their tax bills.
Most people will have a small decrease.
About that, right. So, So that's good news. Hopefully they can continue to do that. Hopefully we'll get more growth in the county and the city. And like I said, everybody's in it for the same reason, try to just improve and get things better. So, but we appreciate you coming in, like I said, to explain what the digest is, the millage rate and all that stuff, because a lot of people just, as I said, all they care about is it going to be less or more when they get their tax bill. Tell again, what's the date, the deadline to pay your taxes? November 15th. November 15th.
That's the statutory date that they need to be due. So that's the date I strive for every year.
I guess I should ask a question. If people, they're struggling, they can't. Did they set up payment plans for people like that?
Yes, I do.
Hardship cases, things like that?
Yes, I do let people set up payment plans. You'd always rather help somebody get caught up than to be forced to send their property to tax sale, because that's not a good feeling. You don't want to do that, but sometimes you just have to.
So there's help there if they need it, like I said.
Yes.
They'll let you know they need hard, so that's good news. And your number at your office is?
912-427-5910.
5910. Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming in. Like I said, it's good news. Hopefully the good news will continue in years to come.
I hope so too, Bob.
Continue to roll that millage back. But we appreciate you coming in. Always good to see you.
Thanks. Good to see you and Jonathan too.
And we'll be back to close out the Butch and Bob Show after this.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup. A bank that puts people first. First Southern Bank, investing in you since 1907. Serving Jessup, Patterson, and Waycross. A true community bank led by experienced neighborhood bankers that live and work in our community. Offering competitive loan options for commercial and consumer clients. Stop by the Jessup branch and meet branch manager Mandy Yeomans and her fantastic team. Call 912-810-1540. Let First Southern Bank be your bank of choice. First Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant in Jessup is now open for business, practicing social distancing, but still serving that great food that Damon's is famous for. Come inside or come through the drive-thru, but Damon's is open inside and welcomes back its customers. The menu's the same, the service is fast, and the food is fantastic, and the sauces remain the same, mild, wild, insane, or inferno. The number is the same, 588-WING, 588-9464. Damon's Restaurant on West Cherry Street in Jessup. Dining room now open for business. Come on in and enjoy a great meal today.
819 with WIFO-FM Big Dog Country. So Enmark is a gas station. I'm sure these days all those convenience stores have some sort of food attached to them. And that's a big lot over there.
It is a big lot. So
the corner of First and Pine. So
the corner's been empty for quite some time, so it's not to see.
Yeah, it's been about 12 years ago that all the car dealers, when we hit that bubble, and it burst in 2008. So it's been quite a while. The only thing that's been on that lot most of the time is political signs.
Right.
So Enmark and McDonald's is coming along pretty quickly over there. It's that remodel seems to be going rather quickly over there.
Just want to remind people, we got Buddy Carter tomorrow on the world famous Butch and Bob Show. A lot going on in Washington, D.C.
Or via phone?
I think it's going to be via phone.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. But appreciate Denise coming in today, Tax Commissioner. Also a reminder, again, they got the ticket sales today for the Wayne County-Pierce County game at the stadium from 9:30 to 11:30. I understand they went pretty well yesterday. There's a few left, so if you want a ticket for Friday night's game, you got to get it today. Again, no ticket sales on Friday night at the game, so keep that in mind. If you're head over there thinking you're going to get a ticket,
nope.
You're going to be out of luck. So
yeah,
make sure that
Scalpers at the gate.
Scalpers at the gate. I don't know about that. Unless you bought some, you're going over there selling. You got to be here at the studio. You can't go over there.
That's right. Somebody just said, "Will Enmark have a food place in it?" We don't know that, but these days, most of your C stores do have. You got Crystal with Flash or Circle K now, and then McDonald's and Friendly, and so. Maybe it'll be something good. What would you like? What would you like that we don't have? Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, we're not
off the top of my head, we don't meet their model.
We're not getting a Chick-fil-A.
No, don't even spread that rumor. That'll start like wildfire there. All right. Anything else we need to cover at 8:21? Because I went by yesterday morning just to see how the ticket sales were going, so that on community announcements yesterday, I was going to be able to say that they still were available today, 9:30 to 11:30. I think she said she was at about 150. And this would have been like at 10:30.
Right. They went pretty well yesterday, and I'm sure they'll go well again today. I'm sure they're going to sell the whole 500. Yeah. Again, Pierce County sent us 500 tickets for our side. Again, if you're going over there Friday night, one thing you'll notice is different than years in past. Their band's going to sit on our side of the stadium, so that's unusual. So, like I said, our band's not going to away game, so their band's going to sit on the visiting side of the stadium just to accommodate their home crowd and get them to be able to social distance a bit more on the home side. So, again, they are required masks to get into the game, but once you get in the game and you social distance, you can take the mask off, but you do have to have a mask to get into the stadium on Friday night as well. So you might want to keep that in mind also. And the Braves, a big night last night, 29
that was
runs.
A football score.
And football tonight. NFL football kicks off tonight. The Falcons in action Sunday at home against Seattle. Jaguars home. I haven't really heard how many fans are letting in those stadiums. Have you heard that?
No, have not heard that number. But we'll have those games for you right here on WIFO and WLOP.
Yeah, I think tonight they said 16,000 are going to be allowed in the Kansas City Stadium. That's normally a 75,000, 80,000 seat stadium, so it'll be interesting to see how it looks with just 16,000 people in that big stadium. Be curious to see how that looks. But Patrick Mahomes, last year's MVP, Super Bowl champion, Kansas City's loaded again this year, so it'll be fun to watch football. And the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and Georgia Southern. I like the nickname of the Campbell College, the Fighting Camels. You don't hear that very often.
No.
I asked you if you're going to bring a camel on the field. You said you can't bring live animals on the field.
On the newscaster, I think GNN said the UGA can't be on the field.
I can't believe that's communism. UGA can't be on the field. What is that? That's where I draw the line. UGA's got to be on the field. What are they talking about? UGA can't be on the field.
They say no live mascots.
He's social distancing his own doghouse, for Pete's sake.
Air conditioned.
Exactly. Yeah. With the ice and everything. Yeah. You're telling me UGA can't be on the field?
That's apparently the...
Who made that rule?
I don't know.
I need to write a letter.
Get that letter campaign started here.
Yeah.
All right, somebody texted in Baldino's subs, and I don't know if that's actually what's going with Enmark, or is that just a wish list?
A wish list.
Yeah. All right, anything else we need to cover this morning?
I think we covered it. Like I said, ticket sales today, 9:30 to 11:30 at the stadium.
There
are a couple of football games in town today. Martha Puckett will be at home against Waycross. That game's at Martha Puckett. And the JV's taking on Long County today at 5 o'clock at JC Stadium. So if you want to see the JV team in action tonight, 5 o'clock at the stadium. So that'll be a pretty good game to watch. So Long County Blue Tide coming over for that ball game.
All right.
So that about does it, Jonathan, for what day is it?
Thursday.
The
10th day of September.
There you go.
World famous Butch and Bob Show on WIFO, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, and First Southern Bank. Good morning, 8:24 on this Thursday morning. An update from Fox News Radio is next.
Let's have an adventure. Those Jeep Adventure Days are busting loose at Woody Folsom Chrysler Dodge.